And you get to take a moment to really tune into what that looks like for you today. And I, every once in a while, give a few options. So I'll do that tonight, it's been a little while, but you could sit with your feet out in front of you instead of cross-legged, or you could sit on your knees with something underneath your hips. So figure out what feels good for you tonight. And then rest your hands down on your legs, whatever that position looks like for you. And lengthen through your sides. Let your shoulders draw up and back. And then as you close your eyes, bring your awareness to your breath and how it's moving. And start to let your breath travel a little more deeply into your body. Start to allow your inhales and exhales to become longer and slower. Now connect palms together at heart center. And as you gently press your palms together, lift up through your sides again. On your exhale, bow toward your heart. And then softly, let your eyes open, release your hands down, and move back and down with your shoulders a few times, rolling your shoulders back. And as you do that, start to move through your head and your neck as well. So you can take that position of your head in any direction that feels good to you, to be able to check out what's happening. And then as you come back into center now, let's take elbows by our sides, palms are lifted, and rotate open here. So this is what I fondly like to call gratitude arms. Take a full, big, deep breath. And a couple times, lift shoulder blades and then release them down your back. Lift shoulder blades, release them down your back. And then take another big breath here, maybe rotating a little bit more open with your arms. And now release your hands, bring your hands behind your back to clasp, or you can always make fists at your low back here. But now lift up with the fronts of your shoulders, tops of your shoulders, lift them up and back. Hug your elbows back and start to lift up and open through your chest. Let the back of your neck be long. You might even add a little bit of ear to shoulder here. And then releasing your hands, take your hands in front to clasp, pull forward with your arms, and round back through your spine, your chin tucks in your chest. Take a couple big breaths and add a little side-to-side movement here through the shoulders, getting into the back body a little further. And then coming all the way back upright, release your hands. If you are sitting cross-legged, feel free to switch the cross now. And then move your sitting bones, move them back and broad. And now take goalpost or cactus with your arms. And as you move back in space with your elbows, tilt your fingers a little bit back. Start to lift a little upward with your front ribs. Take a big deep breath here. And now we're going to cross left arm over the right to come to a hug. And as you give yourself a hug, walk your fingertips towards your shoulder blades. Lift your elbows up to shoulder height and then broaden tops of shoulders. Think of drawing shoulder blades onto your back. Take an inhale and lift up with your ribs and your elbows. Exhale, round in. So your elbows are pointing down, your chin tucks in. Big breath into that space between shoulder blades. And then inhale, sit tall. Open arms back up to that cactus or goalpost place and move your elbows back in space. Elbows tilt a little forward as your fingertips tilt a little back. Lift a little with your front ribs, take a full big breath. And then wrap right elbow over your left, coming to the hug on the other side. Walk fingertips to shoulder blades. Lift elbows up, and then broaden tops of shoulders. Inhale, lift elbows and ribs. Exhale, round in, chin tucks in, take a full big breath. Then inhale, sit tall, go ahead and release your arms, roll back with shoulders. And this time roll forward with shoulders. And now let's shift forward onto our hands and our knees. And from hands and knees, if it feels best to you to set your knees up on something, feel free to. But wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push so that you can expand into the upper back. Inhale, reach back with your right leg, turn open with your right hip, bend your knee and press your right heel toward the left side. Reach a little longer through your thigh. And now step right foot forward in between your hands. And you're working your left knee back as far as you need here. So we have a little runner's lunge going on. Take a full big breath and try to make your front a little longer. So move collarbones and your front ribs more forward. Deep, full inhale and exhale. And now walk your hands to the inside, heel toe your right foot out to the right. And from this place, we'll get a little bit more into the hips. So lift up with the front part of the foot. So the ball of your foot is lifted, your heel is on the ground as your pivot point. And from there, you're opening and closing your leg. And you have that movement happening all the way at the hip socket with your leg. And then keeping it open, keep your foot flexed. And then start a little forward and back movement here with your hips. And then bring your foot back into center. You can step back onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, set yourself up. Find that wrist under shoulder, knees under hips place. Rotate elbow pits forward again and push, expanding into the upper back. And then stretch back with your left leg. Turn it open with your hip. Bend your knee, press your heel toward the right side. Reach through your left thigh. And then step left foot forward in between your hands. And again, in this runner's lunge, work your back knee back as far as you need, a little longer stretch for your thigh here. Extend forward with your heart. Longer through your sides, deep breath. And now you're walking your hands to the inside and heel toeing your front foot out to the left. And then come on up with the front part of your foot so you're on that pivot point of your heel. And then from that place, open and close with your knee. And now keep it as open as your body is ready for. And now a little shift forward and back with your hips. And now back in the center with your foot. And go ahead and step back, hands and knees. And then let's take hips back to your heels for a child's pose. And as you take this child's pose, take a few moments to shift in it, move around in it, let your hips sway, maybe reach your arms further forward. And then come to a little bit of stillness. Full, big, deep breath. And now gently push yourself up to your seat and come all the way down to sitting bones. And we'll take soles of feet together into a butterfly. And from this place, you're always welcome to put props underneath your knees. You can put your pillow and your blanket underneath your knees or whatever you have. Or you can stay without a prop. But keep your feet up close if it's easy enough for you to tilt your belly forward and sit really tall. Or move your feet a little bit away from you if that makes it easier to tilt your pelvis. From this place, you can hold wherever you need to. Fingertips can be behind you. You can hold onto your shins or you can hold onto your feet. I tend to like to hold onto my shins here, but really wherever it feels good. Take an inhale and grow longer. And exhale, just notice for yourself, without actually trying to push your knees down to the ground, notice for yourself a reach out through your thighs toward the walls beside you. Inhale, sit even taller. Exhale, find that gentle reach. One more time this way. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, gentle reach. This time, inhale, sit tall. And exhale, if it's in your practice, you can hinge at the hips and fold a little bit. And from that place, again, you can hold on to toes, you can hold on to shins, walk your fingertips forward on the ground. You get to decide where that is for you. You can always stay more upright as well. Deep, full, big breath. One more deep breath right here. Then inhale, rise all the way back up. And now you're gonna find whatever you're using for a pillow or a bolster and bring that to the front of your mat. And we're gonna turn ourselves to face the right side. So your left hip is right up against whatever you're using for your prop. And then bend your knees back. And then you're turning your belly and your heart toward your bolster and then starting to rest over it. As you find that resting position for yourself, just remember that you're never stuck in one place here. You can always shift to make it a little bit more easeful. We're taking 3 more big breaths on this side. Then use your hands to support you to bring your torso back upright. And then we're just going to turn ourselves to face the other way. Bolster can stay right where it is. So right hip up against the bolster, bend your knees back toward the wall behind you, turn your belly, turn your heart, maybe physically pick up your hips and turn them, and then start to rest. Taking that second side, and take the time to shift it and adjust it to make it the most comfortable. Three more breaths on this side. Then using your hands to help you, rise all the way back up. And then we're gonna come to the other side again, and this time we're gonna turn it into an IT band stretch. So as you turn so that your left hip is near the bolster, you're gonna extend your left leg out to the right. And now your right leg gets to extend toward the wall behind you. And then this time you're turning your hips so that you can be on the outside edge of your leg. And then shift the bolster to where it needs to be to rest. And so this one might have a few more sensations. And if it's a lot of sensation, then you can bend the left knee. You can bend the right knee. And shift it to whatever it is you need. You might even stay up a little higher with your torso. But tune into the sensations. And take whatever action you need to take to make it a little more easeful. And for your nervous system to be able to calm. Three more full breaths on this side. And use your hands to help you come back upright. And then bend both knees and turn yourself one more time to the other side. Last side. So left hip near the bolster. No, just kidding, right hip near the bolster. Extend your right leg out to the left side. Left leg back behind you if that's comfortable. And then you're gonna physically pick up and turn onto the outside of your leg, on the outside of your hip, and then start to rest. Again, take whatever action you need to make it a little bit more easeful. And now gently press yourself back up to your seat and bend your knees. And you can set your bolster aside for now and then come all the way onto your back. And from your back, take a moment to pull knees in toward your chest as close as it's comfortable. And you can even decide whether you have your knees narrow or wide here. And then do a little rocking side to side. And now with footprints coming to the ground, drop knees first in together to touch. And take your hands right up to your hip creases. And give your upper thighs a little push away from you so that you might feel a little tilt of your pelvis. And when your pelvis tilts here, think of sitting bones moving down, low back lifting. And then take a big deep breath. And now feet together, knees open wide, coming to that butterfly place again. This time, you might feel a little bit of a difference in sensation. So you might put some props underneath your knees or thighs. If you want, you can reach your arms overhead, take a couple full, big, deep breaths. Two more big breaths right here. Then drawing your knees up toward each other, take your feet out wider than your mat. And then drop both knees over to the left side. And from this place, take a look at your right knee and thigh. And make sure that it's coming straight ahead from your hip instead of angled into the left. Trying to find that extra length through the thigh. Give both feet a flex. And then you can use your right hand if you'd like to lift up a little bit more with your right hip. So you're turning it up and even turning it to the left a little bit, if that's in your practice. If it's not, it can stay more down. Take a big, full, deep inhale and exhale. And then switch to the other side, both knees to the right. And again, check the left knee and thigh straight ahead from your hip. Feet are flexed. And then if you want to, you can use the left hand to help lift the hip a little bit. Reaching longer through the thigh. And then gently bring hips back to the ground. And begin to set yourself up into your favorite version of a resting pose right now, your Shavasana. Feel free to prop your knees up, especially if you have any tension through the low back. Feel free to set your feet together, knees open wide in butterfly. Do what feels good in your body. Let yourself settle. begin to take a deeper breath. Add some gentle movements into fingers and into toes. As you're ready to, bend your knees and roll over to your side. And then slowly press yourself back up to your seat. With hands connecting at heart center, eyes softly open or closed, your choice. Take another full breath to check in. Have a very peaceful, beautiful night and have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.